Today, I'll be presenting of my game development, S.O.L.I.T.ARYs. That's the title of the game. Let's test it out. So far there's no bug or anything, which is good. Okay, so this is the main theme where the player start the game, and you can see I am moving fine, up and down, and if I go down it keeps changing, so the player can either start or quit the game. Don't play this game, it's it's boring. Start, quit. Okay, so player gotta press E to interact, and there's a movement down there. That's pretty much it. That's all of the game functionality. That's it. And then you play start. So far the game is okay. So far the game is doing fine. There's no bug. Sound effect is great. Although it's a little too quiet, right? You can hear the sound effects of the enemy doing that, right? The sound effect is doing fine. The player is getting damaged. And let's see. Let's try and run away. Let's see if you can get away from this enemy. Alright, looks like we got out of the zone. The enemy's line of sight. That's what I'm trying to say. The song team is playing well at the background, so that's good. And you can just hear the player taking damage. As you can see there, right on the top left, the player currently have 1 health right now. The damage system is working well. And now if you press escape, the player can pause. Let me show you that I'm not. Yeah, every time I unpause, it just made that sound. I don't know why. Okay, that's some bug right there. I don't know how to fix that, but it's good, right? It's hilarious. Even though the game was supposed to be horror and scary. And okay, let's see. So the enemy is chasing, and we press pause, everything stops, and we press resume. The enemy starts moving again. So that thing's function well. Okay, the enemy starts moving. You can see the enemies right there, staring at you menacingly. And although the song team stay playing in the background, so the player can go back to the main menu, and we're just gonna do that real quick. And they're back in the main menu, and they can just quit or start. So I'm gonna start back. Okay, so yeah, the player can go back to the main menu and start the game back. The next thing is the player gets killed. So that's 1 damage, 2, 3, 4, and died. The sound background is doing well. There's a sound effect whenever the player dies, which he screams, and there's a little song theme where the player dies. And looks like there's a restart, main menu, and quit. So the player can restart the game. Normal. Let's try and walk around and see if we can hit the exit. And the enemy's alert sound effect works well. And there you go. Okay, so the victory sound of the player was placed, and now the player can restart or go to the main menu. And if we go to the main menu, they just go back. And that's pretty much it. That's the functionality of the game. The very first thing is what I trying to do was thinking of how to do the 2D movement. So I've looked it up on YouTube and found this guy right here. His name is let me just zoom in, full screen. 2D top-down pixel art game dev crash course tutorial for beginners. His name is Chris Tutorials. He does really good tutorial. So I learned movement from this guy. He teach me how to do the tile palette and how to do the characters rigid body and the coding mostly from him,
and then
teaching how the codes function. And
have
that's
the
the
tile
very
map.
first thing that I was focusing on, making the character movement. That's the first development that I was trying to do. And we go to the main level, and we go to the player. As you can see here, these are the player's stuff. So I'm just gonna make it simple. So this is the characters moving from up, down, left, and right. And this one right down here is the sound effect for the movement. And this here is when the player is trying to move, the code will let the player move, and if the character is not moving, it stops moving. The red is where the enemy detects the player, and the yellow one is the enemy starts the enemy stops because the chase radius is off. And here you can see this tiny little square, this very tiny square is where the damage does. So yeah, this is the check radius, and this I don't really want to bother that much because kind of scary though. And the enemy will go the other way around to get to the player. So as you can see right here, I'm playing, okay, so this is the enemy radius, right? So if I get too close, the enemy detects, it will go where the enemy saw the player. See? And if I open the nav mesh, they go exactly to where the blue ones is. Oh crap. It's following me. The enemy will go to the last known location when they're out of sight. Yeah. That's their out of sight. So when I stay here, they will go exactly to that last location and trying to find me, and they stop because they don't know where I am. The progress that I made for each of the stuff that I do. First, I'm gonna go with the camera view here. This only took a minute for me to add on. It's really not that hard. You just download the source, which I forgot what the name is. The player animation and the script of the player, the script of the enemy. It took almost it's about 10 days. Trying to learn coding for a newbie, it took about 10 days for me to finish the player animation and the coding for the enemy and the player as well. That took 10 days for me to figure it out how to develop this character and the enemy. And the next one is the map layout. It only took me for an hour, no, half an hour to make this map. As I mentioned earlier, the reference that I took, I changed it a little bit so it'll be more fun to maneuver. See, the player can go around and try to go back and go the other end. That only took half an hour. And finding all of the sprites, as you can see down here, it only took me a day to find all of the sources at the same time. So it's like one half a day to find the sources that I need. Now the next thing is the UI. The UI took me only 2 days. It was only 2 days to finish the UI. Some coding to do, some errors, and yeah, so only 2 days for the UI canvas system, the health, the game over screen, the pause, and not to mention the main menu as well. That only took 2 days. And the next thing is the sound manager, the sound, the music and the sound effects, as you can see. So the only audio that I took was the character, enemies, environment. No, I did not use the environment. This was scratch because the very little time that I made this game. Now the last one is the music. This only took didn't take that long. It was like 15 minutes to find all of it because I already have in mind how the sound was gonna be like. And basically all this sound wasn't made by me. This sound was taken from YouTube. It was free, people giving free stuff. You should accept it. So it only took 15 minutes for me to find all of the sound effects. I say this game was not really that hard, but the hard part was making the enemy's AI and the player move. It took me about 10 days. Crap, I might be wrong. it could be 15, but this type of game can finish very little time because I delay it. That's why it's very much look like unfinished, though I have to finish it like this. So, yeah, that's the total summary of my time for each of them. Thank you very much. I'll play the game footage and enjoy. Thank you very much.